of showed you the ropes or mentored you essentially?
So I've had two influential mentors in my life. One was Gilbert Gonzalez. Gilbert took me under his wing, and he taught me what it meant to be an inspector, and that we weren't just the enforcers, but we were the educators. And that was an invaluable training for me. The other one was Jim McClinic, and I blame Jim for my activity with ICC because Jim was the one that in Phoenix was the first ABM that I attended. Jim made sure that we went to the hospitality suite, and he introduced me to a lot of people. And so, I just really encourage as you get into this industry, as you attend the ABMs, that you don't go to the ABM and when the meetings are over, you go sit in your hotel. You take the opportunity to network with people, and that's what Jim taught me as one of my mentors.
When was the first time that somebody took the time to mentor you, and how did that experience go?
Well, I have been so fortunate and had hundreds of mentors along the way, large and small. But I'm going to tell you a story when I first started in this business. And I got hired by a small town, city, and I was a one-person building department and had never been a building department before. Not necessarily even been into a building department before, but
Wow.
now I was it.
Wow.
I had to learn, talk about on-the-job training. Like, here, you're it, sink or swim. And actually what I did probably about my second day there was I, looked at the map, called all of my immediately adjoining jurisdictions and introduced myself and asked, can you teach me the job?
Mm-hmm.
True story. And I actually did get adopted by an adjoining building department. And, I went over there for their weekly meetings, and I went through them as they studied the code and a lot of other things like that. Ended up having really, really good time there. And it was free. I mean, my jurisdiction knew that I'd never done building department work before. And on each job that I've done, that I've had, it's basically been on-the-job learning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I figure if you can just get dropped into a job and there's nobody in there around that knows anything, and figure it out, anybody can do it.
I think that's an important lesson for anyone starting to get into this industry.
Yes. Be bold. Go do it. And I think the enlightened folks now are really looking for the same thing, people skills. If you've got the people skills, you can learn the rest.
Who mentored you, and how did you meet?
Well, I had several mentors throughout my life, but I guess in the code aspect, I started with Jackie Gibbs, City of Marietta, fire marshal at that time. He then became chief of Marietta. He sort of got me hooked into state government and being a plans examiner. The mentor there was Raymond Hall, who was a registered FPE in the state, and he was the deputy state fire marshal, and basically took me under his wings and taught me the aspects of understanding codes and when things, how you read the code books a little bit, which got me more interested in taking some more classes myself to expand my horizons. And then when I got involved in the SBCCI at that time and the ICC now, in 2000, again, I had a lot of good help that pulled me in and took me under their wings and showed me the ropes of the code hearings. And before you know it, when you start asking to do things, they give you the assignments and more stuff to do. The more you do successfully, the more they're going to give you to expand your horizons. And I think that's the thing of a good mentor is they challenge you a lot to push yourself. And so I've had several.
And permits for Anne Arundel County. And I had 3 or 4 great mentors in that whole period of time. And I look back and I think probably the 2 of the biggest mentors that I've ever had in my entire life were my mother and father. They were the first mentors I ever had because they taught me, number one, right from wrong. They taught me good work ethic, and they taught me a lot of those items. Those were probably the first major mentors that I ever had in my life, and I think they were excellent. Along the trail, I've had numerous mentors. The director who hired me at Anne Arundel County first told me when I first hired on that you need to participate in the certification process. And through that demand, it wasn't a request, I was already taking some of the certification tests, and I finished those up. Thanks to Paul Radaskus, I think he showed me a way on how to broaden my horizons and be all the best that I could be.
I think that's such an interesting point that really it started off with your parents. You know, mentors, they come in all different shapes and sizes. They come in your professional life, they come in your personal life. And I don't think it can be overstated how important the mentor really is in providing us that knowledge that we just don't have yet starting off, whether it be starting off your life from your parents, starting off in this industry of code enforcement. Those mentors, they really are the ones that give us that guiding path and show us the way on how to get there.